G'day folks, today we'll be chatting to Port Adelaide young gun Jarrod Lienert on the show, but before we do that, just want to give a shout out to one of our local businesses here in Adelaide. They need your support more than ever. Mama Camilla's down here on Jetty Road, opposite the Grand Hotel. Les and the crew, they're a great bunch of people down here, so come and get yourself a coffee or get yourself a Smythe pizza. They're doing takeaways at the moment. The Smythe pizza is certainly one of my favourites in tribute to the great Phil Smythe. But let's go and speak to Lino.
Welcome to Legends with Bevo. Thanks to the Holdy Hotel, Coopers and Anytime Fitness Glenelg.
Jarrod Lienert, great to have you on Legends with Bevo. How are you keeping yourself busy at the moment, mate, in social isolation?
Hey Bevo, yeah, I'm going well, thanks mate. Definitely staying busy. I've headed up to Robertstown at the moment where my girlfriend's family's from, so I'm up on the farm at the moment, just doing some farming things, which doesn't come too naturally to me, feeding sheep and all that sort of farming stuff. But to be honest, I'm absolutely loving it. So yeah, I've been up here for about a week or so. Plan to head to Murray Bridge over the weekend as well and catch up with my family. So me and my partner on a bit of a SA world tour as such, but we're staying isolated and we're going well. So yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun, mate. And have you been sort of keeping to a program and stuff? Are the boys giving you a program to work through during this isolation situation?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, so the strength and conditioning guys have been all over it. It's basically just like an off-season program, to be honest. So basically got your 3 main conditioning sessions a week, along with weights as well. So I think everyone's pretty experienced to staying fit during these sort of times. Obviously, it's very extremely foreign to us, the whole situation at the moment. But I think all the boys seem to be training pretty hard and staying pretty fit, because I suppose games could be a long way away, but they could be pretty soon. So we're just staying ready.
Speaking of that, there's talk about doing a hub over there in Victoria and having all the teams playing in Melbourne. Sure, that's a bit unfair for the South Australian teams and other in-state sides.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it'd be interesting, because I heard there might have been a hub in Adelaide, but then it was too much of an advantage for us and the Crows. So yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be great to just get games going, whether there's a hub. I'm not really fussed where the hub is, to be honest, as long as we get playing. And hopefully, yeah, Melbourne could feel like home if we're over there for a couple of weeks and stuff. So but as long as it gets going, I guess I don't think the advantage would be too much, I reckon.
I think a lot of people are in the same boat. They just want to see footy. They're sick of seeing the old games, and they just want to see modern footy. So obviously, it's been a while since your win against the Gold Coast Suns, 47 points though. But it must have been a good feeling though to get the win on the board in round 1, because the Suns have been playing pretty well. They hadn't lost in the pre-season, so good to get the result.
Yeah, it was. We certainly went up there knowing that they're a team that thrives off confidence, and they had a really good start to the season in that in the Marsh series. So we're certainly ready for it, and I think we started the game really well and really got on top of them early, and then get all rolled from there. And it was really good to be sitting on top of the ladder at the moment. So really happy with how we started the year.
And what was it like playing in front of an empty crowd? Bit of an odd feeling?
Yeah, definitely very weird. It felt like some sort of like weird pre-season game, to be honest, like just a weird pre-season trial game between 2 clubs with obviously no crowd in that. The fact that it was a genuine game was a bit weird. Definitely just very weird, just the silence, and you could hear yourself obviously like talk a lot more, which was good. It felt a little bit like an SANFL game, but in a bigger stadium, obviously.
And talk us through the Jarrod Lienert journey. You're a Murray Bridge boy, as you mentioned before, and you played for Sturt. You won a premiership with them back in 2016, and then on to the Power. Yeah, but talk us through the journey so far.
Yeah, I suppose it wasn't the normal journey in regards to getting drafted. I got drafted when I was 22, which was obviously good. I think good in a way, because I had a chance to develop myself off field before I got into the AFL system, which was awesome. But started playing footy in Murray Bridge for Imperials. Started there when I was about 8 years old, and I suppose went down to Sturt in under 16s and played Sturt under 16s, under 18s, and then a couple of years of reserves footy, and then I finally cracked into the league side in 2015. And then obviously Marty Matner came along and gave me a really good opportunity in 2016, and we won the premiership, which was obviously unbelievable. Something that I've always dreamt of. I suppose I supported Sturt my whole life, and to win a flag for them was amazing. And then I suppose cherry on top, getting drafted after that. that was awesome as well. And then spent a full year in the Maggies, and then have sort of become like a sort of in and out player in the power team over the last probably year or so, and looking forward to cementing my spot in the side going forward.
Yes, well, fingers crossed if the season does start soon, we can see you playing some good footy, because you were playing some great footy in the pre-season. Of course, you kicked that winning goal for us against the Dogs in the pre-season. So let's hope you can carry that forward, mate.
Yeah, that's right, mate. It was a bit weird popping up forward, but it was good. It was good fun to kick a couple of goals, and yeah.
And in terms of going forward from here, obviously, what are the boys doing? Are they keeping in touch? And have you heard much about sort of what's happening with training, or?
We haven't really heard much about what's happening with training. We have a meeting this afternoon, actually, which will clarify some of that. Obviously, with the position of the AFL, I think Gil McLaughlin's speaking on Monday to clarify some things. So I suppose we'll hear more about training then. But yeah, I've been keeping in touch with all the boys. Us backs have a Friday night catch up, once a week, and it's good fun just catching up and saying g'day and talking a bit of smack, which is always good. And we've also had a couple whole team meetings as well. I got one coming up this afternoon with a few of the coaches and stuff too. So yeah, we've been keeping in touch. But yeah, there's still a little bit of uncertainty over the training and when we return.
In 2017, you played in the grand final. Unfortunately, the Maggies went down by a point to Sturt. Was that an odd feeling, though, playing against your teammates that a year earlier you'd won a premiership with?
Yeah, it certainly was. I think I sort of got, by the time the grand final came around, I sort of got used to playing against them. I think we played them. My first ever game for Port Maggies was in a trial game against Sturt, actually. So that was weird. And yeah, it just felt like when I was warming up, I was looking down obviously the other end and seeing them warm up as well. And I was, it was the weirdest feeling. I just felt like I was on the wrong team for a little bit. And then I suppose we played them I got to play them a couple of times during the year. The first time we beat them pretty well, and I felt pretty sorry for them. And then the second time we went to Unley, and I copped a little bit of abuse from the fans, and then we lost. And I sort of changed my. I wasn't so sympathetic that day. I was pretty filthy with the way I was treated and all of that. But and then we played them again in a qualifying final and then in the grand final. So by the time the grand final came around, I was sort of used to playing against them and really, really wanted to win, because obviously I'd formed lots of great relationships with the guys at Port. I suppose after the game, it did feel like I missed out a little bit on a flag. Obviously, being a Sturt supporter my whole life, they were the initial thoughts of just I've missed out on the opportunity to play in another Sturt premiership. So that sort of drove me, I guess, to really want to make it in the AFL and play for Port Adelaide. And I was lucky enough to do that, and hopefully I've got many more games to come. Yes,
fingers crossed for that, mate. And you still keep in touch with a few of the Sturt boys as well?
I do, yeah. Lots of my great mates are still obviously at the club. Actually, a lot of them have retired over the last couple of years. But still keep in touch with all of them. They're all going really well. And I'm catching up with one of them actually this afternoon for a chat. So that'll be cool. So yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful, mate. And outside of footy, what sort of interests do you have that keep you busy?
I've been studying teaching, so I was lucky enough when I didn't get drafted, I went to university and studied a teaching degree whilst I was playing at Sturt. So I got the majority of that done whilst I was only a part-time footy player. And then when I got drafted to Port, I just kept going in a part-time capacity for the teaching. So I've just got a couple of placements to go, and then I'm all done. So really keen to become a teacher after my footy career. And I'm also pretty interested in like the media side of things as well, of sport. Enjoy a bit of commentary and all of that sort of stuff. So I'm starting to train myself up a little since I've got my teaching basically sorted. I'm starting to dip my toes into a bit of commentary, which is good fun, and hopefully I can take that forward as well when my footy career is over.
Oh, well, you're doing a wonderful job, mate. So keep that up. And in terms of your teaching, what are you wanting to teach? You want to teach high school and PE, or what are you looking at doing?
Yeah, in the high school. PEs obviously would be the cruisiest gig, I reckon. It'd be good fun getting outside and playing sport with the kids all day. That'd be awesome. But also qualified to teach some English and like some HAS, so like geography and history and those sort of subjects as well. So yeah, I've got a good spread there.
Well, hopefully it'll be a while away before you're doing that, because we want to see you playing with the Power for a number of years. So let's hope that's down the track.
That's right, yeah.
And in terms of the club you mentioned before, there's a lot of banter, and I've spoken to a few boys in the past, and they love a joke or two and a prank here and there. So who's your funniest teammates at the Power and perhaps the Sturt as well?
Funniest teammates at the Power. That's a good question. There's a few guys that think they're really funny. What was the funniest prank that I've seen is the Darcy Byrne-Jones drives an old Subaru, and the window was broken halfway up. So one day, a few of the boys got the little like beanbag things that you put in the beanbag and just absolutely filled his car with bags of that, and he was absolutely livid. So that's probably the best prank. I'm still not sure who did that. I thought it was Sam Gray. In fact, I was certain it was Sam Gray, but turns out it was someone else. I can't remember who it was exactly, but that's probably the funniest. And Darcy's someone who just you can get stuck into him pretty easy, and he gets pretty filthy. So they chose a really good target and executed the prank pretty well.
Love that.
And that's Sturt. Yeah, you go.
And Sturt as well?
That's Sturt. Who was there at Sturt? There was a few good ones getting around at Sturt. The old like deep heat in the jocks. I'm not sure who used to do that, but that certainly got around. James Battersby's actually really good at pranks and stuff as well. He's an absolute clown. So I'd say he's probably the prankster out of the Sturt lot. But there's a few to choose from there as well.
I love it, mate. And in terms of your toughest opponent with the AFL, you've played against some big monsters, but who's been your toughest opponent and why?
I reckon the toughest opponent's probably Eddie Betts that I've played on. I got stuck on him for probably a quarter in a showdown in my third game, I reckon it was. And he's pretty quick. He whenever he's around, I think it was a Crows home game, and just whenever, like, obviously, you know what happens when he gets around the ball, the whole crowd sort of starts buzzing, and it makes you pretty nervous as a defender. And he's certainly my hardest opponent. I think just his sharpness when the ball's in the area, he can make it look pretty silly. So I think he's my toughest opponent so far.
Yeah, he's certainly a very good one, and hopefully there's a bit more footy left in Betsy because we love watching him. Obviously, not being on him, but from the outside anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Lino, thanks so much for taking the time to have a chat on Legends with Bevo with me today, mate. It's really, really enjoyable chatting to you, and enjoy your time up there in Robertstown, and then obviously off the Murray Bridge, and let's hope that footy comes back sooner rather than later, mate.
That's right, mate. Yeah, thanks for having me on. Really enjoyed the chat, and stay safe.
Same with you. Take care. See you, mate.
Thanks, mate. Bye.